Stop scrolling, look at the map, because the world's biggest powers, they are colliding at the sea. Open waters, a massive oil tanker, nearly 2 million barrels of crude. And then US forces, they moved in. Washington seizes a Venezuelan oil tanker headed straight for China. No warning shots for the headlines, no quiet diplomacy here. A full interception, a public message, and global shockwave. Let's dwell into the story, what really happened here. So, the United States has intercepted and seized a Venezuelan oil tanker carrying around 1.8 million barrels of crude oil. Destination? China. According to Washington, this was not ordinary trade. The US says that the ship was part of Venezuela's shadow fleet, basically a network of tankers used to evade the US sanctions by hiding ownership, switching the flags, and moving oil quietly across the oceans. But this is a big deal. Why? Because this was not near Venezuela's coast. It was not a port seizure. This happened on the high seas. And that changes everything. Because right now, trade routes are under threat, energy security is being challenged, and a great power rivalry has gone public. After that, China responded, and that too sharply, loudly, and dangerously. Of course, Beijing is angry. China has condemned the US actions as piracy, illegal interference, a violation of international law. China says that the oil was lawfully purchased and that US has no right to block sovereign energy trade. Now, this is not diplomatic language, this is a warning. And China here, they care so much. China is Venezuela's economic lifeline. Venezuela needs buyers, China needs cheap oil, US sanctions push both together. Now, for Beijing, this is not just about oil, it's about energy security, trade independence, and resisting the US control of the global shipping lanes. Basically, if the US can seize oil today, what stop it tomorrow? Then comes Venezuela's reaction here. Caracas is calling the seizure an act of maritime aggression. Venezuela accuses Washington of stealing sovereign resources, weaponizing sanctions, and escalating towards the conflict here. For Venezuela, this is existential. Oil is not just revenue for them, oil is survival. And then enters Donald Trump. This confrontation is happening under Trump's power. Trump has long taken the hardline approach, maximum pressure on Venezuela, open confrontation with China, zero tolerance for sanctions invasion. Now, the seizure sends a message, right? Trump, he is on fire, sanctions will be enforced, and there will be no gray zones. So, the big question, will China retreat? Analysts ask that will China increase naval escort for oil shipments? Will Beijing challenge US authorities at the sea? Could Chinese ships start pushing back? Because retaliation does not have to be missiles, right? It can be trade pressure, it can be diplomatic escalation, it can be military posturing in other regions. And yes, Russia is also watching closely here. Moscow already backs Caracas politically, but now, could Russia send naval support? Could joint drills increase? Could Venezuela become another proxy arena? If Russia steps in, this stops being a US-Venezuela story. It becomes global.